All right. 2 weeks out of it, but back in this mother, you know.
You already forgot how to do it.
What are we doing?
Back in this what? Back in this mother. Yeah, 2 weeks out. I was away. I treated myself. Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they say? Treat yourself.
We're going to call this episode 19. We're going to call it Back in the Mojave. Welcome back, DB.
Yeah, welcome back to. I went on a cruise, a sabbatical to Seattle, which is my hometown. Went on a cruise to Alaska for 8 days total, 7 nights. But we'll get into the more details in a minute here. So what are we talking about today, Chris?
Well, we got a few items to talk about. We're going to talk about statistics for Las Vegas airport numbers, the first membership-only club that's opened in Las Vegas at the end of the month last month, Kentucky Derby a little bit, the Palm Tree Beach Club, the episode of Cheers, the latest one that we need to talk about, and then podcast and convenience stores.
Wow, that's a big wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 2 weeks. We got to talk about something.
Yeah. There's something.
Oh, and Allegiant Stadium. We got to talk Allegiant Stadium numbers.
What the heck happened to Allegiant? Oh, the numbers.
Just numbers.
Okay, got you. All right.
So let's. We are recording this on the 7th. Are we on the 7th today?
May the 7th. Yes.
So we've just passed May the 4th. Be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
Noted Star Trek and Star Wars fan, and on the 5th is the Sith.
Revenge of the 5th.
Revenge of the 5th.
That's a tongue twister for you.
Seriously, you would have thought that we've already cracked one of these.
As you can tell, Chris is not necessarily a Star Wars fan.
Yeah. So Speedy Mart, who has several outlets throughout the valley, and I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name that decided a few years ago to go with a curated beer collection, not just your normal major domestics or imports, whatever, but to be a little more crafted, if you will. Has dedicated several doors and high volume stores. From our good friends at Beer Zombies, we're going to try today the Zombie Wars, a new haze, triple hazy IPA that's ringing in at like
That's a freaking mouthful.
9%. We're going to share it.
I love the artwork.
Yeah.
Pretty fantastic.
That's been a thing. I was on the phone at Speedy Mart before I came over, and even though we are going into the golden hour, we still have natural light working for us.
Yeah.
We're going to share this guy, and it's been a couple weeks since I've seen the kid, so we're going to break out one of these too.
Oh, cold brew. All right, let's do this.
Wake up.
Smell the roses. Well, technically we typically record in the afternoon, but it's after 5 somewhere. So
if you want to hear about a little bit of my afternoon of blasphemy, I was up at my parents' house before I came down here, and I'm wearing a T-shirt from Buc-ee's, which is obviously the noted convenience store. Speedy Mart. I
have a bag of beaver nuggets in my pantry. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I have a friend that goes frequently, and she knows I love beaver nuggets. So.
Beaver nuggets.
Beaver nuggets. Who doesn't love a good beaver nugget?
Our friend and former coworker Des brought this to me from one of his trips to Austin in the last year. So I was just throwing some stuff together because I was working on the garage earlier. But then, unbeknownst to myself, yes, a man of many opinion.
Yes. I will always fondly remember the time when the pandemic was in full effect, and he was man in the station, McMullen's. He was the manager, and we snuck in there with a 6-pack or a 12-pack or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
And it was just me, him, and you just sitting around table 53.
Yeah, that's right.
Shooting the breeze. The first time we actually had a beer in the bar since the beginning of the pandemic, and that was. To me, we did it in your driveway a couple times, but
parking lot pops became 53 club.
Yeah, and then the three of us hanging out at 53, just chatting for a couple hours. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was a fun memory.
Yeah, and then if you guys have been to McMullen's, 53 is the big table in the main in the middle. Good seeing you, sir.
Yes, cheers.
Cheers.
Here's a little wakey.
Here's to your Bucky Nuggets. Anywho's, I've been to a Buc-ee's in the past, and we all have our favorite things, but unbeknownst to me, when I walk in, I don't even think about it. I walk into what is my favorite convenience store chain in the country, Quick Trip, which is open their first one.
What's the famous thing you always get? The
Rooster Booster.
Rooster Booster.
Which one is sitting in the vehicle, but I walked in and realized I was wearing a Buc-ee's shirt, so the sacrilege and the blasphemy was just exuding from my pores as I walked through there.
Did they kick you out?
They looked twice.
Did they?
Yeah, I felt like Ghostbusters. I was crossing the stream.
That's funny. So, I don't think I've ever asked you this. So, if you were to drink Rooster Booster, because it's a type of energy drink, right?
Yeah.
I've never had the fortune of having it. But what would you perhaps mix that with alcohol-wise? Just vodka?
I mean, it's their generic Red Bull, and I
Okay.
really don't drink soda that much anymore. And it used to be when I was a kid going on a quick trip in the Midwest, it was like every day, like clockwork after school, I would go get a fountain drink of Coke.
Yeah.
I mean, I've probably had one Coca-Cola this year.
Really?
You know, yeah, from McDonald's, which is tasty.
How many Rooster Boosters have you had? Since Quick Tricks opened
Five
here
or
in Vegas.
six. Five
Yeah.
or six. I mean, every time I stop, I mean, they have obviously other options, but I go out of my way to stop while my parents, and my parents probably appreciate it because I'm like, I probably need to get up there. I probably should go because Quick Trip is the emulsifier.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all things, I had to go cross the streams in the actual bathroom before I left because I got the big size.
You know what? You just made me thought of an idea. When you said McDonald's has tasty Coke, we should try this, or I should try it for the show anyway, for some added content. Disneyland, to me, has the best Coke.
Okay.
And I think that's intentional because I think they have those reps there making sure those things are fine-tuned at all times because that's a huge, marketing opportunity for you. I don't know how many people visit.
I've always read people say because it's the circumference of the straw and how when you take a pull from it, how it comes across is how the flavor is enhanced.
So my thinking is to try cocktails based on the different Cokes because I've had all the different versions and I agree. I think it's better at McDonald's and I think it's better at Disneyland. So my thought process here is to try like what would you say, Captain and Coke?
Sure.
At each of the locations, and see what we think.
Well, yeah, and you've bartended for a long time, and you've sat behind bars when people go because people fundamentally ask for a Jack and Coke. They don't give me. You never hear a Jack and Pepsi.
Yeah.
Or rightfully or wrongfully so, it's like what soda products do you have? And like, oh, we're a Pepsi product store because you're like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But Coke, okay.
Yeah. It's really strange when, as a bartender, for as long as I have been bartending, to hear somebody walk in and say, "I'll take a Jack and Pepsi," because nobody does it.
Right.
And I shouldn't say nobody, but when it does happen, as a bartender, you're like, "Huh?" Because nobody says it that way. It's a weird.
Has anyone ever walked in and asked you for a TNT and you go, "Dynamite"?
No.
Well,
no.
You culturally insensitive bastard.
Yeah, I am indeed.
But before we circle away from this, regionally speaking, I mean, back east you have like Wawa's in the south, you have Buc-ee's in the Midwest, you have Quick Trip. Do you have or have you encountered in your travels across the country a favorite convenience store? 7-Eleven?
No. So I'll tell you that. So
Cheers.
early on we were talking about
Look at that cloud.
Speedy Mart. They by far have the best beer selection of any mini mart I've ever been in. Matter of fact, because I talk too much, the talk soup. I was talking to a customer at the airport. The guy is actually the guy that does it. I don't remember his name. He curates the beer menus there, and he gave me a 20 as a tip just for a bottle of beer. He's like, "Go buy your next 6-pack on me." And I was like, "Yeah, thanks, man. That's pretty cool." But
this is Zombie Wars with a Star Wars Latin beer cover, and man, I'm gonna be punny and say it's a bit chewy.
It is. You got to make the growling noise. Come on. So
2 weeks. Did you miss me?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So what was I going to say? So for a convenience store, for me, there used to be one called Hoagie's Market.
Okay.
It was I don't know if it was just a Seattle-based place, but they used to have like a sandwich shop. So half the store was the convenience store, the other half was the sandwich shop, and they used to make these hoagies that I found fantastic.
Yeah.
And I have not seen one in years, but yeah, that and when I was traveling through the Midwest, come and goes, which I believe are gone now.
They went.
They came in.
Yeah.
They got bought out by another Midwest chain.
I know. I was talking to my buddy Skip on the way down from Utah today. Literally, my parents live in the extreme Northwest. Darren lives in the extreme Southwest, and he said, "Text me when you're on the way." I was like, "Okay, I'm texting you when I'm leaving Utah." But another one that's kind of coming to the market people like too is Maverick, which I've diddled in. I mean, I've been into a couple, but I haven't been like, "Oh wow, this is amazing." But like the Quick Trip,
it's not the first thing you've ever diddled.
This is a true statement. So let's go back to come and go. But
this is hazy, by the way.
It is a triple. But I mean, the reason I like, I've always been customer service focused, and the reason I was a Quick Trip is, I mean, everyone can have Slim Jims, everybody can have candy bars, and then as these convenience stores have expanded, it's their other offerings with the like ready to go food. Like if you don't want to make food for your family, here's the breakfast sandwich that's ready to go. Here's the pizza in the evening.
Yeah.
But for me, like it's always been the customer efficiency and service that Quick Trip offers, because you walk up, your daughter walks up behind you, your other daughter behind you, and me behind him, and like everyone is rung out. And like, hello, how are you? Speedy, efficient, thank you very much. Yours is 1321, yours is 472, yours is 515. Ding dang boom, out you go.
That's
Whereas,
crazy.
The convenience stores we've been exposed to most out here are the terribles, which are literally terrible.
Yeah.
Because and we've had this conversation before about what you pay your staff and employees, and I've said this many times behind the bar is, POS doesn't change. It's not like a floating spectrum of buttons that are ever moving. If it's the same 32-ounce fountain, it's the same 32-ounce fountain, and it's not a beautiful mind, John Nash. It's you're looking at the window looking for the formula, right? Just hit the button, man. Just hit the button. And I get it, and I try and do whatever, but you're sitting there like. Well,
I mean, that being said, like my bar where I work, you have to touch the computer screen 10 times just to ring up one beer.
Yeah.
It's kind of overly complicated and kind of crazy, but that's corporate America for you. It's just the way it goes.
But I definitely enjoy. Speedy Mart is you're down here in the extreme Southwest. There's one on Cactus and Decatur basically that I always stop at because they have a pretty good selection. And what's nice too about them is, as beers have gone up in cost too, much like many things, part of the problem used to be if you went in for a 4-pack or a 6-pack, you'd be north of 20. And if you didn't have it, you'd be like, man, I want to try it. But
it's crazy now.
I'm 25 into this, and I don't know if I'm gonna like it because I've had a couple stinkers too.
Yeah.
So where they've now retrofitted the 3 or 4 doors, they have everything's a single. Now there's a cost associated with that. You're not getting. This wasn't $1.79. It wasn't atrocious.
It's not two 25-ounce Clamatos for
correct.
$5.
Correct. I mean, I think it was $4.99 for the 16.9-ounce can, and I'm glad I tried it. It's okay.
Yeah.
But it's for an everyday sipper.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever.
While you were gone, Allegiant Stadium had a couple big events one weekend. Well, I mean, I think you were leaving on the cusp of the WrestleMania fervor.
I left right after it was over, so it was kind of fun, kind of cool.
But subsequently, the weekend after, you had, dare we say their last tour, but Brian Johnson, late singer of AC/DC, who had some ear problems for like the last 7 years and like going partially deaf or whatever, or monitor problems. Mm-hmm. AC/DC swung through here a couple weeks ago. And then just the last weekend, we're midweek in early May. This last weekend, you had Post Malone and Jelly Roll. So talking to my friends at the stadium, both had...
I was talking to somebody, I was like, so Jelly's lost a little bit of his roll, apparently.
Yeah.
He's doing good.
Yeah, he's more like a Knish.
He's more like a cheese Danish instead of the full roll.
Yeah. The baker's dozen is no more. If we could have bake shows.
And there's we're both of us, thank God we're both bartenders, not comedians, right? But between the two of them, who do you think has more facial ink?
Oh God, that's a good question.
I know. It's like,
I mean, just without really giving 2 seconds more thought, Post Malone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy when people have those. I think it's fine. I don't judge people, but I'm like, wow, man, like that's commitment right there. That's something you have no idea,
And, I mean, Allegiant Stadium and T-Mobile Arena both kind of set the precedent now in the country for like event-driven occupants, because I think they're both top 5 in the country as far as what they see every year. And like, even though like there's not another event here for a couple weeks this summer, they also see Kendrick Lamar's going to come through at the end of the month. You have a couple dates with Coldplay.
Coldplay's coming to Vegas?
2 shows, I believe.
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to check that out.
You have the CONCACAF Gold Cup, and then you have Shakira. You have The Weeknd, and you have Beyonce, all before football comes back this fall.
Do you want to hear some controversy?
Sure.
Did you hear about it, the Beyonce thing?
No.
So apparently Beyonce started her tour, and in part of her tour there's like a giant video presentation and she's like doing the attack of the 50-foot woman thing through Vegas. And at one point, she like picks up the sphere and like throws it.
Okay.
And I guess the Sphere, the company that owns the Sphere, what's the guy's James Dolan or
James Dolan?
He did not appreciate that, and so they sent him a cease and desist. And so now they have replaced said Sphere with Allegiant Stadium now. So I thought it was kind of funny because I heard a rumor that she was going to have a residency there.
Yeah.
And maybe they didn't like her like throwing it. I don't know. Any publicity is good publicity, right? I guess negative publicity is still good publicity as well, right?
Unless you're Bill Belichick.
Unless you're Bill Belichick.
Have you heard about that
100%.
controversy?
Well, I mean, come on. That's just Bill Belichick is controversial.
Is the 73-year-old greatest, arguably, NFL coach ever being full go with his 23 or 24-year-old girlfriend?
Yeah, I mean,
Belichick Incorporated?
Old rich guys dating young women is not new. It's a tale as old as time.
Well, you said controversy a moment ago, but I always like the Jimmy Fallon bit where he goes, controversy. Like referencing Prince. And then to go full circle about old rich guys liking young white women, could that be another Prince song?
That's true. Yeah, good.
Pussy control.
I'm a bad dance fan. Let's
Okay,
go.
bad dance. All right.
Bad dance all day long.
Top 5 Prince songs because we're going to opposites and you tell us.
Most underrated Prince album is the Batman soundtrack.
Okay, I get it.
I believe so. But you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I was never a huge fan. I love Prince. Hello, somebody's at my door.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah.
No, really? Prince Rogers Nelson? I mean, come on.
I mean, yes, I love the guy now. Post, but it's a long story. We'll get into it another
Post
day.
Malone? Okay.
No.
Just, we've both talked about Allegiant before because obviously it is still one of the 2 newest stadiums in the NFL before they get surpassed in the next couple of years with the build out in Buffalo and the build out in Nashville, I believe.
Yeah.
But I've
much
always,
smaller versions though.
I mean, I think that capacity wise, I think seating will be just as much, if not more. It's just, I don't know what the cost is going to be because like at the time, when they contracted to build Allegiant in 2017, it was $1.9 billion, which is one of the most costly stadiums ever.
It was cool when they were building that. The crews that were building it, a lot of them came into McMullen's, late at night when they got off work. And I remember when they were putting the roof up, the roof, and one of the bolts broke, and like the roof kind of caved in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I got to see pictures of this bolt was about like bigger round than me, like this big, and it just snapped right in half. That's how much tension was in there. I got to see pictures of it. It was cool. Anyway,
have you worked at the airport lately? No,
That's really only heavy D.
Yeah, dilly, we got our own thing. But you are a noted ex-communicative of Seattle, and I'm an ex-migrant of Kansas City, and you have all things Seattle sports teams, and I have all things Kansas City sports teams.
Look at this, Chris.
Look at that.
I got this one in
You
Seattle.
got a new little Funko guy up there too since last time I was here.
Yeah, Walt Disney. You know why I put that up here?
Because it's a small world.
It is a small world. He's a small Walt Disney. No, they announced a new Disney theme park, the 7th theme park today.
Where?
In Abu Dhabi, a little island called like Yes Island. I thought it was like a joke at first. I'm like Yes Island, like Yes Queen, But
Is that the same? Because funny enough, you say Abu Dhabi, and I forget which Middle Eastern country. Where is Wynn finishing off their build out in the Middle East? Is it Abu Dhabi?
Probably.
Is it in the same space?
There's huge investment there. I don't know.
They were saying, and please forgive me, listeners, and whatnot, but I believe wherever Wynn is contracted to build their casino in the Middle East, whatever the build out cost is, it's due to open in early 2027. And they said they have projected, like with the immense amount of wealth over there, like $5 billion in the first year.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money.
Well, they have a lot of money. The population is super small, and they sell I don't know what the percentage of the world's oil is, but so it's a ton of money.
Of course.
Anyway, they're building the 7th theme park. It's going to be paid for by a third-party company, but Disney's going to help manage it, whatever. So I thought it was a joke at first this morning, and I'm like, it's not April 1st. But then
it's not May the 4th be with you. It's not the 5th be the 6th.
it's a whole new world.
Right.
But they, Disney, like any major corporation, if somebody comes to them and says, "Hey, we'll give you $1 billion," they're going to be like, "How much? Like, what would you like to do for us?"
Sure.
And that's just the way it goes. That's how they got built in Shanghai. That's how they got built in Hong Kong. That's how they got built in Tokyo.
Euro Disney.
Tokyo, yeah.
Yeah. Wrapping up Allegiant Stadium talk, I went to a lot of games at Arrowhead in the Truman Sports Complex, and obviously Arrowhead shares the same parking lot as Kauffman Stadium where the Royals play. So to have a game day experience in Kansas City is a lot different to have a game day experience here. And I've always said, like, literally, there's 1,000 parking spaces on site at Allegiant, and that was a number totally arbitrary that I made up, but I looked it up today. On site, there is 2,700 parking spaces at Allegiant Stadium for
2,700.
Yeah, there's
Where?
At Allegiant Stadium.
Where though?
I mean, you got to think on the west side over there by the In-N-Out, and then over on the east side by the Ford entrance.
That can't be true, because like I've seen pictures of Royal Stadium and Arrowhead.
No, I'm saying Allegiant.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
But there's a huge parking lot between those two and those buildings. And how many parking lots are there? Do you know?
Oh no, Truman Sports Complex that has
Parking spots
for Arrowhead and Kauffman Stadium, 19,000.
It's massive, and I just don't like where though. Where could they? That's crazy.
That's just Midwest people don't fuck around on game day.
Yeah, well, I guess just that being said, I'm sure we'll talk about it more in my cruise experience, but I took a picture and I'll have to show you later. But we're cruising away from Alaska, and there's this cruise ship that passes us, and I take a picture of it, and it's a teeny little dot in between these two mountains. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, it was a massive cruise ship. It's like 22 decks. It's got over 4,000 people on it, but it's a teeny little dot in between, the ocean in between these two mountains. So I guess, perspective wise, yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of room, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
Sure. Okay. Bye Allegiant for now.
I kind of went deep there, man.
Yeah. Probably
I guess it's the cold brew. I haven't had cold brew in a couple weeks. So.
Nor have I, and hard to find. So discontinued. So we're still just cherishing this bottle we've had for months now. Late April, like I said, we're on May 7th, late April, downtown, north side of the Arts District on Charleston, kind of across from Cornish Pasty on the north side of Charleston. First membership club opened, the Doberman Club.
Oh, okay.
April, I would say 27th, 30th.
I thought it was open to the public.
It is. It's
they have a private area.
Well, it's a $3,000 membership. You don't have to pay it. You can go in as a person, a public person.
As a lowly.
As a lowly person, but obviously with the $3,000 membership a year, it allows certain perks. So if they're on weight or whatever, you're guaranteed a table.
Guaranteed to get in.
They brought on, and I believe a Korean girl, Juyeon Kang, who did the mixology program at the wine room in the back of Commonwealth. For the longest time, it's the same restaurant group, hospitality group, that's doing this. And then she went to be lead mixologist at Fountain Blue, and now she's back doing this. So apparently 5,000 plus people applied for membership.
Wow.
So
there's plenty of rich people that live here in town.
And then they had to submit, they had to answer 20 questions, and some of the questions are very basic, like what do you do for work?
What kind of Bugatti do you drive?
Yeah. Have you ever been in love?
What?
What's your biggest fear? And here's a good one for you. If you wake up in hell, what song is being played?
Devil Went Down to Georgia. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think about it.
Well, think about it. Because I'll tell you what song's being played in my personal hell.
Well,
John Legend. All of me loves all of you. Every time. Fucking scratch chalkboard. That thing drives me nuts. Anyway.
That's funny. Mine, you know what? That being said, I worked at a karaoke bar for a short time, and the song, the trucker song, what's it called? Come on, help me out, Chris. Here,
the trucker song.
Yeah.
Alabama?
No. It's gonna come to me right after we get done.
What are you smoking the devil's lettuce? We're talking about what song you wake up in hell?
Yeah, exactly.
So I saw a picture from my friend Ryan Fleming, who used to do marketing for Wahoo's, and he did this perfect trilogy of pictures because he was out bar hopping the other day, 2 of which I don't think you or I have been to. So put this on the list and listen to this, Vegas Day drinkers. I think Doberman Club doesn't open until 2. Jive Turkey, which is down in The Huntridge District doesn't open until 3, so that's another one we're going to check out. We haven't yet. And then a place where you used to stay in the neighborhood, Starboard Tech.
Starboard Tech.
Which you're a big fan of.
I like the Starboard Tech.
Yeah. So and that's open 24 hours. So
for those that don't know, Starboard Tech is a rum bar, not to be confused with a tiki bar. It kind of shares a nautical theme a little bit, but their cocktails are all classic rum drinks as opposed to tiki drinks.
Gotcha. So yeah, he just kind of posted through. Obviously, he was on a bit of a day drinking mission himself, so he posted those 3 pictures succinctly, and I'm like, good man.
Good man.
Let
me go back to Doberman real quick. I don't like the trend because it's just another kick in the face to everybody that doesn't have enough money. It's like, oh, look I'm special, I'm better than you. I just don't like that trend. It's a trend that is always there, but it doesn't have to be constant. I always, whenever I go to Disneyland, there's Club 33, which you have to be I think membership's like $100,000 a year or something like that.
Yeah. And
I know many people that have gone, it's like a status symbol. It's like, hey, look at me, I'm cooler than you. And it's divisive in its nature, and I just don't care for that. I'm more of an everyman. I'm a blue collar guy. I'm I like going to Silver Stamp and hanging out with real people. Matter of fact, I would rather hang out with people that are the people that work in the back, like the dishwashers and the cooks, and the servers and the bussers. I don't hanging out with bartenders. We're all a bunch of douchebags. I'd like to hang out with the other people.
Darren's very good at saying you'll get Taco Bell. So.
And I am one, and I know, and I'm not the.
Who doesn't like a good Meximo?
Who doesn't? Yeah.
Yeah, so good. That's quintessential. I was telling a coworker last night about how good Juan's Flaming Fajitas are, and they have multiple outlets now through the valley.
Yeah.
And he goes, "What makes it good?" I go, "They're Flaming Fajitas. How can they not?"
It's the classic argument about sellouts. Like Torchy's Tacos in Austin. It was a food truck, and it just now they're I think they have 30 or 40 locations now, and I believe they're opening one here.
Oh, really?
Tex-Mex style tacos, and people are like, oh, it was good when it was just a food truck, sell out or whatever.
Sure.
But hey, I guarantee you that if I had the money, I'd plunk down $3,000 to be a member of the Dover Club.
Sure.
So yes, I am a hypocrite, but I just don't like the trend. I think everybody should open their doors for everybody.
You and I both work at the airports. You're just recently back after your 2-week siesta.
Uh-huh.
I've been in the trenches for my 5 days and my 5 days. While you were gone, I think was it right after Easter, at the end of April, May? What are we on? We're in early May. It's kind of funny because you have a lot of other influencers, and by no means are we calling ourselves influencers. We're just guys that are having a chat.
I'm anti-influence. People listen to me and they're like, no, don't want to do that.
Right. So he says go to Wendy's. I say go to Burger King.
Frosties, baby.
Yeah. Oh, so good though. But, so for all these other people right now kind of trending down on Vegas, and the numbers are down, and room occupancies are down, gaming revenues down. Is it the world? Is it tariffs? Is it Canada? Is it Europe? Do they hate us? It's kind of funny because while you were gone, when we start to get this ready for the week podcast, I look at a couple different, to cite different information. And the LVRJ, one of their trending articles last week was that Harry Reid International Airport, not Monday, 2 days ago removed, but 9 days ago removed, had its 3rd largest passenger count day number ever go through the gates.
Really?
Yeah, 107,000 people on a Monday.
That's what's still moving.
That's what was reported. Now, I was
at South Point the other day when I got back. The day I got back, it was packed in there. It was absolutely packed in there, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Obviously, it was the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
But they had 3 different events going on in there. They had a bowling tournament. People are still coming.
Yeah, I think we were kind of talking about this before you left. If last year's numbers was 44 million people, now that's not what came through the airport. That's just total visitors. But let's say that number is reduced this year to 39 million people. That's still a lot of people.
I honestly believe that these executives and these accountants are cooking the books, and they're trying to make everything look like it's bad. So, because it's all profits all the time. You know what I'm saying? And we've talked about this too. The casinos have become real estate investments, and now everything's rented out.
Right.
So numbers change based on that. Like dollar wise, they change on that. So I mean,
yeah, I came over, like when I came over here today, I didn't fly over in my black helicopter and I didn't ring the doorbell with my tinfoil hat. But I stood in the trenches like last Monday, and was it busy? Yeah, absolutely. But like I didn't at any point like, oh my God, this is unbearable. Like this, and I'm in Seagates, where it's Southwest, which is obviously still for now the most popular airline.
And it's a slower time of the year for Vegas too. Like you have no major events going on. You have EDC coming up, and then you have pool season coming up, which is a different clientele. So, gaming wise, the numbers aren't there for those things.
Which we talked about a couple episodes ago. It's a great point because you just said Kentucky Derby. So Wet Republic is gone at MGM, and it's been replaced from Tao Group with Palm Tree Beach Club, which kind of watching. Yeah, I mean, just robbing Peter to pay Paul, but like kind of watching.
Announced Mr. Chow's is closing at Caesars.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah, Mr. Chow's. Watching
some of the early Instagram, again, influencers or the videos that were people that were invited over the weekend. I mean, I'm sure, again, it was, if you live here, I think we all appreciate the rain. We probably sit outside, we probably sing in it, we probably have a beer in it, because we don't get it that often, but we just had 3 days of a pretty nice, like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I brought it with me.
Yeah, he is the rainmaker. So, John Grisham wrote the novel, the novelle, but he is the rainmaker. But I just, again, to your point, numbers can't always be up. And if it, once again, because they've been accused of in the past, if newspaper media is kind of cooking their own books, because when all this negativity is out there, third busiest day ever.
Yeah.
And then my mind goes to the fact, like, really? Because it's only been Harry Reid for 3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
So is it okay for Harry Reid, or is that in the entire existence of the airport?
It's hard to say with these media corporations nowadays. They're just, it's unfortunate because we know now that controversy sells.
After we finish this shot, can you fact check that for us, please?
There will be no live fact checking. We can say whatever the hell we want here, and it's true.
Hey, another thing. Can you reach those stickers real quick?
Yes, we're stickers right here.
So we put together a couple different stickers with our QR code and a website that's not fully active yet, but we are seeing quite a bit of growth on our Facebook pages, which we wanted to do. So,
mine's mainly because I ate at the buffet on the cruise ship.
Yeah. So for those of you that have come on recently, obviously we will put a update in the page, let alone all the other social media outlets. So welcome to all the new folks. This is primarily a page about being a bon vivant and celebrating all things that day drinking allows, which is kind of thumbing your nose at cultural norms and being different and being out there and enjoying the libations and what this great city has to offer. So if you have pictures, if you have videos, if you have poses, be it with yourself, with a selfie with the beer, or friends, colleagues, Romans, countrymen, post it in the group. We're going to grow this thing.
Tag us in your TikToks, tag us in your Facebook groups, tag us in your Instagrams. We'd love to see it all.
We've got big ideas. I think there was a girl named Monica or Monique that just posted the other day. We are not just for posting your shifts that you're working or whatever. If you want to post some of the drinks that you're making at said place, absolutely, that you're proud of.
You want to post the fact that your regulars are having a great time, show us pictures of them having fun, of course.
Absolutely. We're not mutually exclusive to gaming bars. We want to be bars on the strip, bars on Fremont Street, bars in the neighborhoods. Places that you've been to, places you haven't, because we just want to educate and entertain everybody.
Places that me and Chris should check out, because you never know. There's places that many places we haven't been to, like
the Doberman Club, like Jive Turkey. So, we gotta keep growing this.
I feel like a Jive Turkey.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do this or what?
I guess so.
Just keep. Oh, here we go.
Knock, knock. Yeah, pause.
What's that? No, just say hi. What's going on? Oh my gosh, we got a collection. My daughter has a ribbon. If you've ever had a nothing bundt cake, she probably helped make it. The best nothing bundt cakes ever.
So continuing along with the airport, I sat in my first union kind of rally meeting ever yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So as the Strip has their new contract, as downtown has their contract, it's airport time.
Yeah.
And not that I'm not able to talk about a lot of things, which obviously the biggest thing is going to be wage increase.
What I found ironic was that the Virgin was about to have their biggest weekend of the year, which was the AVNs.
Okay.
And they magically signed their contract the day before that began. Now, we at the airport have been we've been out of contracts since September.
Yeah.
And,
Well, HMS out.
HMS has, yeah.
We've been out of count. Yeah, there's a lot of hyperbole about it, and like it's back and forth, and you have to think what the management side says and what this side says, and not to get too far into it, but like it's filtering the information, and I mean,
yeah, no,
it was an interesting experience to happen. It took place at the union facility down on Commerce behind Stratosphere.
Yeah.
Which when that's all I'll really say.
Is that the one right by Silver Stamp, or no?
Not too far. Not too far.
It's right by there, and what's that? The burger bar right there, the working man's bar.
Where I was about to go, Hard Hat Lounge.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Sorry.
So I kind of
I stole your limelight.
No, I kind of skedaddled through the back street there, and it kind of shot me out on the backside. I was like, well, I don't really need to do this because I have to work today, and I do have Tank 7 on draft, and I did not do it because I was trying to be a better man. But kind of doing some research for bigger ideas.
Was that an Eddie Vedder reference?
Yes, it was. Kind of doing research last week when you weren't here about bigger ideas that we're working on. Where is this information I wrote?
That's
so
your beaver scratch.
Have you been? Yeah. Have you been on Hard Hat?
Yeah.
So they have this great mural on the back wall, and the bar opened, I believe, in either 1960 or 62. And I have that information on a separate piece of paper. But they have this great mural of hard hat laborers, blue collar people that
I've seen it.
has been there. Yeah. Well, apparently this was created by a rather well-known artist at the time, Frank Bowers out of Los Angeles.
Really?
And so he painted that on the bar in the early 60s to pay a bar tab that he owed.
Oh, really?
So it's not just some ode to Spaghetti Factory mural.
I love a good story like that.
And then apparently if you have the lights on and the lights are off, it's got a black light component to it also.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the Hard Hat Lounge, don't sleep on it. Something to check out. Open 24 hours. I did think about going in there yesterday. I have been in there. I enjoy it. They do a great smash burger.
Yes.
But just I couldn't do it yesterday. So that's the airport wrap up for now. Let's take this into cheers.
Cheers. Speaking of cheers.
Cheers. You give me a cheers.
Let me tell you a little story about that glass. I work at the airport. There used to be a bar back pre 9/11. So this is pre 2001.
Okay.
For the young kids out there that don't even know. Well, you laugh, but it's true.
It's true.
So they closed the bar after 9/11 because it laid in the area where they set up the security zone. So funny story though, like Chris, it has a Chris connection kind of in a way, but they had a character, George Wendt and
Cliff
Ratzenberger that sat at the bar, and they were dummies. But apparently they didn't know about it, and they found out about it, and they sued. They sued Paramount over their likenesses, so they got into a bit of trouble with that. But anyway, I started at the airport in 2020.
Okay.
2022, and I was working this bar, and this guy brought up a box of glasses, and it was Las Vegas Cheers. And I was like, "What the heck?" Those have been down in storage for, like I said, pre-2001, so they've been down there for 22 years.
Yeah,
and I asked the manager, I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I take one of these?" And he's like, "Absolutely, go right ahead."
I think I referenced early in the pod that we were cleaning out the garage today. We're kind of going room by room, just getting stuff ready for, like, I guess, late spring cleaning, summer breeze, whatever. And I came across a couple glasses I forgot about. I'm like, really?
So what was it?
One from the Mühlbach, like from this. So it was like 80 years, and they closed in like Prohibition. So ever long my grandmother had that, and I forgot that I had that. That was all wrapped in newspaper.
And that is it's a drink tray, right?
It's a drink tray from the Mühlbach. The Mühlbach.
That's reminiscent of like the old school bars where they would have not big pints like we had. They'd have like small, like 6 or 8 ounce glasses, right?
Right.
And they'd fill them with them, and they just go around and hand them out, and they charge you based. One thing they would charge you when they gave them to you, as opposed to
correct.
Yeah. So
you got a tray full of beers. That's $25.
Yeah, and that's reminiscent of I don't know, like if you go back out east, you get a bunch of guys, firefighters particularly, like they will sit at the bar and they will all order around, and everybody will throw $20-$40 in the kitty, and then every time the barmaid would come around, they just get around and then they take the money out of the kitty, and then if you stop putting in, you're out. You can't drink no more.
Yeah.
And at the end of the night, whatever's left in the pile, you would leave for the waitress. And that's old school East Coast.
What did you think of the episode? Cheers. The spy who came in for a cold one.
Oh, sorry. It's the cold brew, I tell you, man. You can't do that to me, Chris. I thought it was really good. It started out slow, kind of weird. You're like, do you believe this guy or don't you believe this guy? And then obviously the ending, I'll let you lead the twist. But
well, I mean, I think we're episode 12 or 13 in the Cheers, and so I think for the first time in the first season we see Christmas decorations, or as we say now, holiday decorations.
Yeah.
So we're into the early December month of what used to be sitcoms will be 20 or 25 episodes in the season.
Yeah. So typically old school, they would start in September. So your 10th episode or so would be like your Christmas time episode. So
you had an Anglophile that comes in the bar who seemingly is just looking for a friend, and first he befriends Carla, and then he befriends Diane, and then they just don't really know how to take the guy, and then he ultimately ends up being, I guess, truthful. Yeah. Basically, basically goes back and forth. They don't know what he is. Diane thinks he's insane, thinks he's a psycho patient, ends up writing a check to buy the bar from Sam, and writes it for $1 million. And we're talking about 1984? No. What? 81?
81? No, later than that.
83.
83.
Yeah.
And so he wants to buy the bar for $1 million, but Diane rips up the check, and poof, there goes the money. And then in walks the chauffeur, and the miracle happens. You find out that the guy's really a millionaire.
Right, which is what kind of indirectly we've always said in Vegas. You never really know who's sitting in front of you at the bar.
Exactly, and I kind of led with that earlier when I was talking about the guy that worked at Speedy Mart. You never know who you're going to meet. Not a big deal, but you never know. The guy literally gave me a $20 tip for opening a beer for him.
Yeah.
And so I can enjoy my next beer. I had a guy the other day. He walked by my bar. I didn't even interact with him. He put a chip on my bar. It was just a $5 Bellagio chip.
Right.
But he just walked by, put it on the bar, walked right by, didn't even say anything to me. And I looked and I saw it, and I saw him do it. And as he walked by, I said, "Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it."
Was it magical?
It was magical.
Which might be a good tie into the start of the wrap up of this episode.
Sure.
So we talked about favorite convenience store. We talked about a few different things. It's been a good catch up. You were out of town for a couple of weeks. We've talked about the podcast before. You and I both like Scotty G, Prof G. We listen to different things. I obviously listen to a lot of comedy stuff. Recently, Fly on the Wall with David Spade, Dana Carvey, had on Larry David, co-creator of Seinfeld. Mm-hmm. And so they were just, it seems to be that Mr. David is a big fan of impersonations. So Dana Carvey was just, his A game was on.
Yeah.
And so what's one of your favorite podcasts?
I do love that one. I don't listen to it often. It's really strange, Chris. I don't like listening to funny stuff unless I'm with somebody, because I like laughing with people.
Okay.
I don't like laughing. It's really strange. I don't know why, but it is what it is. But I do love that one. I really just kind of like, just a number of different ones. I don't think I have a favorite, but I do like Scotty G a lot. He's the new one, but I do like the Cheers Wrap Up podcast.
Okay, where everybody knows your name.
I'm a big fan of How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
I love that sitcom, and there's a new podcast by How I Made Your Mother by the people that made the show.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to start listening to that one. But obviously, my favorite podcast is the Vegas Day Drinkers podcast. I mean, it's a special place in my heart for the guy, especially the shorter one. The shorter guy is just much better looking. He's cuter. He's not as talented. I won't give him that, but whatever.
There's no talent here. I just show up. So the fly on the wall, in particular one, obviously these three, Dana Carvey, David Spade, Larry David, all had worked in some iteration of another and generationally at SNL.
Yeah.
Now, Larry David was there in the Dick Ebersol moment in the early mid-'80s, so when Lorne Michaels was away. But they've all been in Studio 8H space. And I always like to take away stories that I can kind of coagulate and spit back out at the bar sometimes.
Okay.
So one of the things they were talking about, Larry David was quite enjoying the conversation Dana Carvey was having with himself between John and Paul. But they said, what's your best prostate joke?
John and Paul.
No.
John and Paul who?
Oh, Lennon McCartney. So
okay.
he did that. So they got away from the
I thought maybe you were talking about apostles for a minute there. I was like, wait a second. What's going on here?
This may be the Last Supper. If you can't do biblical jokes, why show up?
Yeah, why?
No, they kind of segmented over to best prostate joke. And like deadpan, Dana Carvey goes, look, ma, no hands. And then Spade goes topically. He goes, I was working Mirage one weekend in Vegas. So
No.
Here we go tying it in, right? And he goes, I run into Copperfield in the steam room and he's sitting next to me. And he goes, so he's literally sitting there next to me with nothing on. He goes, magic, is it real? He goes, what do you mean? He goes, there's nothing you can use right now, right? You can't do anything. He goes, I'll show you magic's real. And he goes, how's that? He goes, stand up. So he goes,
oh no.
Spade stands up and then David Copperfield stands up behind him. He goes, do you feel my thumb in your ass? He goes, yeah. And he goes, ta-da.
So ridiculous.
I think
So
that's
ridiculous.
Wrap it up. Wrap
Hilarious.
it up.
But by the way, you got to tour his actual museum, right?
Yes, that's right.
You don't have to go into details, but we'll make it a story for another day.
Right, near the stadium.
Yeah.
And then when he's in residence, it has a different name.
Does it?
We'll leave it as a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
All
Something
right.
for a later episode.
So for all those of you that are new, again, thank you. Keep sharing, keep caring, keep posting those photos. We're going to keep doing this if you like us or not, because you know why? Like Macy Gray, we try.
Beautifully put.
All right.
Have a good night.
See you next time.